In today's video, we're on the Pit Boss doing up some smoked pork butt. Hey, this is Ricer from Dead Broke Barbecue, Wisconsin, and welcome back to the channel. But if you're new here, we try to help you enhance and amplify your backyard barbecue fun. In today's video, we're on the Pit Boss smoking up some pork butt. And all I'm using is Suckle Buster's Hog Waller Pork and Rib Rub. Now around this household, we're starting to become huge fans of the Suckle Buster's rubs. And the reason why is they're coarse, they're flaky, and there's a ton of flavor in them. Now you can tell that they've put a lot of work into this recipe. There's a great pepper flavor with a little bit of sweet. And around this area, that's the perfect combination for any type of pork on a grill. Now this wasn't a very large pork butt, it was under 6 pounds, but it still took about 7 hours to cook. So grab your sixer of suds, Kent. We're gonna smoke a pork butt. In today's video, we're doing a pork butt, also known as a Boston butt on the Pit Boss. And for the seasoning that I'm using today is Suckle Buster's Hog Waller Pork and Rib Rub. Now I'm not gonna add any salt, pepper, or garlic to it because I just wanna be able to load this up with some Suckle Busters and get that flavor. I dabbed a little in my hand and I really like it. I think this is gonna be a winner. Now typically, I inject my pork butts with some Dr. Pepper. We really like that sweet flavor it adds to the meat, along with some spicy barbecue rub. But on this cook, I'm just using some Suckle Buster's Hog Waller because I'm excited to try it out. So no Dr. Pepper injection for this one. But I am gonna put a pretty thick coat of Suckle Buster's rub on here, so it should give us enough of that sweet flavor that we like with our pork. So we're just gonna start out covering her up. And again, be liberal. This is a big, flaky, nice, thick rub. Man, this has got some good smells to it. Get this big part right here. Cover the fat cap up. And now I'm gonna repeat. This has got some good pepper flavor in it with some sweet. And again, this is a big chunk of meat, so don't be afraid of adding a bunch of flavor. Dump a little inside. I went ahead and removed those couple glands in there, so got a couple pockets we can get in. And if you really look at it, I didn't even add a 1/4 cup rub to this. You don't need a bunch on the fat cap. All right, while the pork butt sets and sweats, we're gonna get out to the Pit Boss and get some smoke rolling. All right, let's start up the Pit Boss. Turn the power on, and we're just gonna turn it right to smoke. Now when the Pit Boss first fires up, it gives you a lot of white smoke, and you don't want that on that pork butt. Keep the lid open, let it dissipate in the air, but it gives you a good chance to go ahead and clean up your pit. Now this is what I'm talking about, this big heavy white smoke. Now in today's cook, I'm gonna go ahead and use this wire grate and put the pork butt right on it. Easier to move it around in the pit if you have to. Now you can hear that fan kick on and start really sounding like it's ready to take off. That's what you're looking for. Close up the lid, and we're gonna give it a couple minutes just so it starts getting some good temperature inside. Now on the Pit Boss, I haven't messed with any of this P settings or anything like that. I still have it at that P4 level. I think it gives us enough smoke. And I've heard if you turn it up too much, sometimes it'll clog up. So I've just always left it at that P4, and it gives a decent smoke flavor to our meats. Not like a stick burner, guys. It's not like a stick burner. But it does give you a good, decent smoky flavor, and especially for you newer barbecuers, now the fire management on this burner is pretty simple. Even my kids can do it. Now they don't like to talk on the camera as much as I do, but go ahead and check out this video that they did. For me, they cooked some Wagyu burgers on the Weber Kettle Grill. Check it out. Everybody likes watching kids cook, right? We're gonna take our wire rack, go ahead and set that in here. And like I said, I don't mind if this one's gonna take a little longer today to cook. It's all right, we're not in a rush, we've got food to eat. So I'm gonna place this pork butt to the left of the fire pot. Go ahead and place our pork butt right in the center here. Then we'll go ahead and put one probe in, and we wanna stay out of that bone. So I'm just gonna insert right about here. Close up the lid and set a timer for an hour and a half. I'm gonna give this pork butt an hour and a half under the smoke setting. And the pellets that I'm using in today's cook is the Pit Boss Fruit Blend. It's got cherry, apple, and some maple in it. Pretty decent flavor. I am a fan of cherry, and I saw it on the shelf and I said, let's check it out. Our 1.5 hour timer went off. I'm gonna go ahead and rotate this 180 degrees and turn the Pit Boss up to 225 degrees. And now we're gonna rotate it 180 degrees. Starting to get some decent color. Looking like barbecued pork if you ask me.
Close up the lid and set a timer for an hour. I want to just come out and check the temperatures every hour because you never know what could go wrong. Obviously, this is more of a set it and forget it, but I'm still nosy. I just want to check my temperatures on my probe and make sure that the pit boss is still working correctly. You know, it does take electricity and sometimes you can throw a breaker, so you always want to check just to make sure you're still cooking. Now, the next time you see me is when we reach that 160 degrees internal temperature. The meat isn't really going to take any more smoke, and then we're going to go ahead and put this pork butt in a foiled pan, and then we're going to start trying to push it through that stall. Okay, so we're 5.5 hours into this cook, and one thing I want to add that when I came out after that first hour, I started to feel that the pork butt was drying out a little bit, so I went inside and grabbed my spritzer, put some plain water in here, and then spritzed it every hour, just to give it a little bit more moisture. And the probe on the Pit Boss says 161 degrees, so we're going to go ahead and check it out and see if we can throw it in a foil pan now.
Well, the pork butt's got some really decent color, that nice mahogany that we're looking for. Let's check out some temps. Yeah, 162, it's 3. Check back here, 160. Perfect. We're gonna go ahead and put this in a foil pan now. Grab the pork butt, put it right in there. Turn it a little bit, throw on some aluminum foil, put in our probe right about here. And I'm gonna push it way to the right side now. And this is where we're gonna finish it off.
Close up the lid and set a timer for 1 hour. And as you can see, the Pit Boss's probe is matching right up with my ThermalWorks thermal pen, MK4 for some of you guys. And I'm feeling very confident that I can come out and check every hour. And until we get it right around that 195 degrees or so, then we'll start checking for probe tenderness. Now, I've been hearing a lot of grief lately that I'm from Wisconsin and I'm not drinking Wisconsin beer. So I ran to the liquor store and picked up a multi-pack of various beers produced here in Wisconsin. The first one I'm trying is PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon. Great beer from Wisconsin, made down in Milwaukee for years. It's awesome. Now this one brings back some fond memories from 1992. Old style. Awesome. And lo and behold, we found the mother of all God's creations of beer. Blatz. Jackpot. Reminds me of the days down at Corner Bar when we got them for 25 cents a bottle, usually during Pool League. Okay, so our hour timer went off. Let's go ahead and check out these temperatures on this pork butt and see where we're at, and we'll start checking for tenderness because the Pit Boss says it's running right around 200 degrees. And remember, I moved that pork butt over to the right. That's where the hot zone is.
Let's check this out. Oh yeah, she's like 203 in that spot. Let's rotate it around, see what we got on this side. She's like butter over here. About 206, 202, still a little bit warm over here, but she's tender, really tender here. So we've got just a little bit longer. Put a new piece of foil right on top here. Here going in, all we're gonna do is check for tenderness. We're just gonna rotate the pan just like this.
We're gonna set a timer for 15 minutes, and now, moving forward, all we're looking for is probe tenderness. We'll use this puppy, see where we're at. Now, I'm sure a lot of my Southern Land viewers right now are wondering, why is he cooking in his garage? This is why. God's country. It's a little bit nicer indoors than having to struggle with this. But still kind of pretty. So in between checking this pork butt, it's always a good time to come out, get a little fresh air, walk in the wilderness. You know, there's a lot of wilderness out here these days. Bring the heart rate up a little bit. You know, us barbecuers, we eat a lot of sodium. Tired. So we're just gonna walk around here a little bit. Look at the beautiful snow. We always say right around the second week of deer camp, put on your snow boots, get out your shovel. Snow's coming. Unfortunately, at this time of year, the swimming pools froze up, but pretty soon you can maybe go ice skating. And to my buddy Phil in Florence, man, I know it gets hot there in the summer, but you don't have to deal with this.
but it is kind of a postcard view, ain't it? Well, it's probably almost time to check that pork butt. We better head on in.
All right, so our 15-minute timer went off. Let's go ahead and check out the tenderness on this pork butt.
She's starting to heat up pretty good. She's boiling. But she's pretty tender. Oh yeah. Really tender down here. It's like butter. Falls right through. I'm gonna call this done. We'll let this steam out a little bit.
Then I'm gonna put it away in the cooler for about an hour, hour and a half. We're starting to get hungry. Then we'll pull it up, give you a sample of how it ended up tasting. Okay, our pork butt is rested for an hour and a half. Let's go ahead and pull this up. Just go by starting and pulling this bone out, digging in. When I pull pork, I just go ahead and start shredding it up with my hands. Nice. Now there wasn't a ton of fat in here, so I'm not gonna really worry too much about pulling that out. A little bit doesn't hurt anybody, does it? Just the fat cap on the bottom, like that. We're gonna wanna get set to the side. Really not sure why I decided to pull it on this plate. Okay, so I've got this all pulled. We're gonna try another piece again. Now this is just the outside bark, and that's gonna have that Suckle Buster's hog waller on it. Very good. I like the flavor. The tenderness now, crazy tender, nice and juicy. I don't know if you can tell, my gloves are probably shiny, but we had a decent smoke ring on there too. Throw some hot sauce on it or a little bit of barbecue spicy sauce on it. You got one hell of a sandwich. Now, if you haven't had any of the Suckle Buster's rubs yet, get some. I will highly suggest this, and all his other rubs that I've tried so far have been fantastic. I really like the coarse, flaky rubs that he produces. So again, another top-notch, Dan. Great job. I really appreciate it. In this bark, you can taste the black pepper in it, and it's great, along with a little bit of sweet. And what better to wash it down with some Miller Lite. Right, Kent? Miller Lite kind of tastes like Corona sometimes, but awesome labeling on Wisconsin beers, wouldn't you say? Now let's read a comment from last week's video. SDS BBQ says, this comment is worthy of being added to next week's video. You're 100% correct, Dash. You were articulate and you had perfect penmanship. Good job. Now, if I didn't know it better, I would say Dash was a teacher in his past, or maybe at least in his past life. And this month, he started a new series called Ask Dash. You can ask him questions about catering, barbecue, fire management, and maybe how to fix a Ford Econoline. Ask him a serious question. Don't ask him like how much he benches. You know, we all know he can probably bench a lot. Now, he's a great teacher and a good friend of mine, and he's the one that taught me and told me, start using aluminum foil pans, Jeff. Stop wasting your time wrapping your meat in aluminum foil, because sometimes they end up breaking and all those juices just run through the grill anyways. If you put it in a foil pan, it's pretty hard to put a hole in them. Thanks, Dash. I really appreciate that advice, and I use foil pans on almost every single low and slow cook that I do now. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and become a subscriber. Turn on that notification bell and check the links below for anything that I use, because you might find your next favorite gadget. It's just in the links below. Really simple. Clickety click. I appreciate you stopping by and watching, and we'll see you in the next video. I want to call it Boston Butt all the time because that's what we call it. But... oh, moon whistle. Not bad. Over to the right side, and that's where all the heat is. So we're pushing. Whoops. There's our timer. God dang it. The smell of pork butt and taste of Blatt's beer can't be beat. Recording still, am I? Yes, I'm still recording. Remember to shut off the camera. Hey, honey, I'm right in the middle of recording. Well, yes, I just wanted to finish this one thing and go get him. He's done at 5. All right, shut it off.